This is the Person of Interest podcast, where we meet extraordinary people with a story to tell.
Well, welcome back to the Stockholm School of Economics here in Riga on a moderate spring day, but I've got a very good guest to speak to today. It's Zane Čulkstēna. Zane, welcome to SSE Riga.
Well, thank you for having me.
Do you have any connection to SSE? I always ask this at the beginning because it's amazing how many people do.
Yes, well, I'm alum, so yes, SSE is my alma mater, and I was very active while studying here, and in a way, I've kept that connection ever since. So I was in alumni association. Had a couple of cooperation projects, and so in a way for me, so I keep coming back here.
And we're very grateful to you for joining us because I understand you just come off a long-haul flight. So
yes, both I just arrived from South Africa, and I also have to say I'm semi-ill. So if I don't make sense, that's because of trip and not feeling too
okay.
well.
And if there are no podcasts for a few weeks, then after this we all know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, like many of the people I've been talking to, there are various strands that you're working in. Mm-hmm. You were a founder of the KIM, Contemporary Art Centre. You have to say it like that because it's got a question mark at the end. Mm-hmm. The ERDA consulting firm. Mm-hmm. But the principal topic we're going to be talking with you today is about the Riga Jurmala Music Festival, which only started last year, had its first iteration, and you were the CEO, and I understand basically the moving force behind getting it up and running. So what exactly is the Riga Jurmala Music Festival for those who don't know?
So Riga Jurmala Music Festival is a new classical music festival. Yes, that was started in 2019. The way we started, or the idea behind it, is in a way quite simple. Latvia has very special traditions. For Latvians, music has always been very important. This is how we've kept our nation alive. So far we've been mostly exporting our classical music stars. Andris Nelsons, Elīna Garanča, Gidons Krēmers, or Misha Maisky, the list goes on. We wanted to start a new classical music festival, which would give a reason for international audience basically to discover Latvia as a classical music I'd say hub. So this is how we started, and we invited Martin Engström, who is founder and director of Verbier Festival. Verbier Festival is quite known classical music festival in Switzerland. It's celebrated 25-year anniversary, I believe, last year. And Martin have before that also been the artistic director of Deutsche Grammophon. He was the one who discovered, they say, Anja Trepko and Lang Lang, where he just signed the contract. I don't know. He says he discovered. But no, he did.
Deutsche Grammophon being the sort of preeminent classical record label for many, many years now.
Exactly. And Martin is very highly regarded professional in this field, and he was asked to come up with a concept for the festival because obviously Europe doesn't lack classical music festival. There are hundreds of them. And his idea was to focus on weekends. So it's a series of mini festivals, essentially. Last year and this year, it's going to be 4 weekends. Next year, 5 weekends already. And each weekend is anchored by a major orchestra. Each of them performing twice, which is not that typical, really not
Get your
many.
money's worth out of them.
I wanted to say, well, no, it's also the opposite. Not many festivals can afford, both inviting major orchestras, but then also having them stay for, most of the cases for 4 days. So that's the artistic part, and then we have major soloists, young stars, most of them winners of Tchaikovsky competition and many others. So each weekend has a total of five concerts. But it's obvious that its structure is designed the way to really work on or attract international attention and visitors.
And as I understand it, there was something like 20 concerts over the 4 weekends, symphonic and chamber concerts.
Yes.
What was interesting to me, viewing sort of the first iteration, was maybe I approached it with a slightly cynical bent, in that I saw Riga Jurmala Music Festival and I thought, well, this is going to be a load of gala concerts and crowd pleasers. And then when I actually looked at the program, it wasn't that at all. It was kind of the high level, proper, we're going to play the full piece,
serious,
not the overture.
No.
Was there a definite decision taken to take that route?
Absolutely. And even, now you can see very clearly what kind of concerts are more popular and which ones are less. And we made a conscious decision of, we are sticking to our artistic concept and our artistic leadership, and it is really about leading talents in this field. So, for example, daytime concerts, is a new format for Latvia. And of course, once you're trying to communicate 20 concerts, some will be louder and the choice will be more obvious, as in case of, Yuja Wang performing together with Zubin Mehta and the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, and then you have young stars that nobody have heard. And I myself, before we started, was not sure we'll be able to pull it off. And the first daytime chamber concert, I said, even if there will be 5 people in the audience, we are keeping this because it's magic. But luckily, we've been actually very successful in respect to also audience, both numbers and general reception. So.
I saw on the website you were quoting a figure of 16,000 visitors.
Yes, more like 15,500. But yes, well, when I remember we're talking as well at the beginning with Martin, and he was telling that when they started Verbier, basically the halls were empty, and he said, you have to give it time. It's a new festival, so don't worry about it. But we have been we've been close to full capacity for most of the concerts. So it's there is something about classical music in Latvia, that's for sure. Well,
yeah, that was the thing that really surprised me. Was I thought that, as you suggested, this sort of thing, building up something where you have the ambition for it to be a major European classical music concert. Okay, the first one is going to be a bit of a trial run. You're going to see what works, what doesn't. The second one, it will build a bit of momentum. Third one, maybe 10 years down the line, you'll have achieved that. But it seemed that you really got a head start, and that year 1 was big, and year 2 then has the potential maybe to fulfill this. It's already a big European standard.
Absolutely.
Concert. But was there a secret behind that? Is it a matter of getting the networking skills right?
No. I think it's all about the program. I think it's artistic style always. It's Martin and our associate artistic director Miguel Esteban. I think they really know what is a good program, A, and B, they were able to put it together in a matter of 2 months. Usually you book orchestras 2-3 months ahead of time. They were approached at the beginning of the summer of 2018. At the end of summer 2018, they presented the concept, and we had to announce the program in 2 months. This is unheard of.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that you mentioned we're networking. You can say so, but in this case, it's really the experience and connections of or artistic leadership that
you must
happen.
then have total confidence in these partners that you've selected.
Which we do. Which we do. The other side, of course, we've been very lucky with local teams. So apart from artistic leadership, all the team is in Latvia, and all of us have very diverse backgrounds. We have people who worked all their lives in banks, and I myself in other fields, and so most of us actually didn't have direct experience, but there was such a determination into making most out of it, and I think that also made a huge difference. And the third, I think, magic component really is the audience, and I've heard it a lot from the artists. First of all, we as an organization kind of internally agreed that meaning artist experience will be number one thing for us, because we believe that it seriously, affects or kind of influences their performance and their willingness to come back and so on and so forth. And they said that there's hardly any place they can think of which have welcomed them so warmly and taken such a good care. And they said the same about the audience. It's even though I heard every single cough and every single candy, and unfortunately we did have some cell phones ringing and so on and so forth. But overall, meaning Latvian audiences are fairly well educated in the field of music because of our music education system basically. So, and that's one thing that all artists notice as well. The kind of the attention that they really got from the audiences.
Well, you definitely can't fake that feeling in the concert hall, can you? I mean, when there is some sort of rapport, when the audience is receptive, and I imagine it's pretty obvious. It must be immediately obvious to the performer when they sit down at the piano or pick up the instrument, and they know that the first 3 rows are all there because it's corporate entertainment, and they have no interest in the music. As you say, I think there is something in the Latvian soul which kind of takes music very, very seriously and gives it sort of respect and wins respect back. But you mentioned something about the diverse backgrounds of the people involved in putting the festival together. Can we just go back a little bit in time and learn a bit about your background? So did you come from a musical family? Did you have a long-standing interest?
No, actually, both of my parents were professional dancers.
That's interesting.
Yes, so I think I've been asked this question many times, and I think I don't have to ask a therapist or someone. but so I don't know where it comes from, but I've definitely spent part of my childhood around stages, and that's one part. But the second part was that. As professional dancers, my parents were one of very few. They work as a janitors part time to make their ends meet. But the good side, I guess, about being professional dancer was that they were able to travel a little bit more than an average. Kind of.
I mean, is this ballet dancers?
It was between ballet and folk. It's folk ballet,
Yeah.
So and they were to bring, show kind of the Latvian culture in a simulated version of Latvian culture around former USSR, but not only. So they were able to, go to Paris, or Tokyo or Delhi, and I think that might have influenced it even more that we grew up equally poor, as everyone that time, but at least I knew there was a world outside,
And presumably they had sort of artistic connections, musical connections.
Little ones, because the dancers in a way they were like sportsmen, so it's but yes, so that's when it comes to childhood. But as long as I remember myself, I've been always very good at math, and I love math, but I always loved arts as well. So I guess this kind of explains all following steps. So
the maths helps with what, the organizational aspects of it, or the
yes,
accounting?
but also no, but also yes, and but also meaning even it helps to get a good education. I graduated from Riga First Gymnasium, and they entered both Faculty of Math at Latvian University and Stockholm School of Economics in Riga, and ended up studying here. But while studying here, I spent I guess 50 on studying, but 50 in organizing. I was the president of Student Association here, and one of the things I introduced was Arts Week, which is still alive and well, called Jaju. So kind of it's always been there, I guess. And then when I graduated Stockholm School of Economics, not even when I graduated, I started working in the last year of my studies. I started working in advertising agency in DDB, and there I grew into a role of strategic director, mostly responsible for research and so on and so forth. And in between University of Sussex, Media and Cultural Studies, I was organizing short film festival in Latvia for 3-4 years. Yes, and then I was approached by, at that time, Minister of Culture Helena Demokova with a suggestion to help set together a contemporary art museum that at that time they were trying to pull off. And I agreed, and we started working, and a year later, financial crisis came, and it all went to bust. But in that year, I came to understand that it doesn't change the desperate need of the artists to have a permanent place for contemporary arts in Riga, because at that time there was none, literally none. So with the initial funding from Ministry of Culture, which was quickly cut right after as the crisis started, we managed to secure a place in Spīķeri and start a non-profit organization, which is KIM. And KIM actually stands as a question for two questions: kas ir māksla, so what is art, but initially also kas ir muzejs, what is museum. So this is how we started, and it's been 10 amazing years. And while being at KIM, I also understood that if I'm going to arts management field, I need more skills, in particular in fundraising. And that's when I applied for Fulbright and went to study to US, Columbia University Masters in Arts Administration. Yes, and then I came back and have continued to kind of both be very active in the arts, but also started my own consulting company. Because I realized that also for my arts institutions, you need to be, both for your network and merely for your own financial capabilities to donate to your own arts institutions, you need to be also in the business world. So I've been doing two things parallelly.
It sounds to me like more than two, because it sounds as if you have this interest in the arts, you have this interest in business, you have these organizational, you have your consulting, and education seems to be keeping going with education. Yes,
and I'll probably go back, continue studying once more for sure. But no, the way I see it,
that suggests you have a very kind of special psychological makeup that you can keep. Some people, I think I probably would be completely freaked out by trying to keep all these plates spinning at once. But you seem to be very easy with that.
No, I think I've always been, even at school. So, in Latvian education system, you can be in school until 6 p.m. And then I would have 2 more extracurricular activities. So I would be coming back home every night at 9 and then still studying, and the next. So in a way, it's like I don't think it's I've always been doing it, but the way I see it, there are 2 parallel fronts. So one is arts, and the other one is business. So and in arts, I have KIM Contemporary Art Center, which is one of my babies, and then Riga Jurmala Music Festival, which is another of my babies. And then on business side, I have ERDA, which is consulting company, and then I have 2-year-old daughter as well. So, which is my
which involves all the above skills.
Exactly.
But it's very interesting listening to you, go through your brief biography there, and quite casually say, well, and so then I organised the Arts Week, and then I organised this, and then I organised that, as if this is something which was quite natural, not at all intimidating. I think the idea of setting up even an Arts Week, a student Arts Week, let alone a major classical musical festival, would be something that a lot of people would find intimidating, highly stressful.
Definitely. In most cases,
a lot of people would probably say, I'm not going to try because I think it'll be too difficult, or the risk of failure is too high. Is that something that doesn't occur to you? Are you stressed when you're on these projects, or do you maintain this sort of can-do approach all the time?
No, I'm kind of no. Of course, meaning of course I worry about how things will turn out, and in all of the cases, there have been moments where I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? It's impossible, for so many reasons, and I cannot pull it off. But I think I've.
Has there ever been a project which has just flopped, or which you've tried to set something up and it just didn't work, either conceptually or there was no support?
No, there have been minor ones, but I think one of my qualities is, I know, how is in English speetics? Stubborn. Yes, I'm quite stubborn. Yes, I'm quite stubborn. So many people will tell you that it will not work, and will give you reasons why not work, and the trick is to just to do it. It's that is one part, I guess, and the second part is really I have the part of me is I have this, I feel like, also civil servant's genes somewhere, meaning I feel that Latvia deserves so much better, and that we can do so much more. But part of the problem is lack of A, initiative, B,
stubbornness.
Stubbornness is just that one. Definitely lack of cooperation skills and just get it done. So, and I think I oftentimes I think I'm just trying to do things in spite of what others say or do. But I've been very lucky as well. I've been both the festival and Kim would never be possible without the support of or patrons, friends, colleagues. So also I don't want to. It's not a one-man show, So there's very many people involved, and all of them have been extremely supportive in so many ways. So yeah.
So where did the initial idea for the Riga Jurmala Festival come from? What was the moment when it became a possibility?
No, the idea actually comes from Piotr Aven. He's a businessman, banker. Not many know, but he's a Latvian citizen for 10 years now, and he actually spends quite a bit of time in Madona, where his grandfather comes from, and the way he tells it is that he's been coming here for 10 years, spending summer, but let's be honest, there's not much to do in the summers here, because opera season, everything finishes in May, sometimes June, and then restarts in September, and that was one kind of, that's how he came up basically with the idea, meaning Latvia is very good in classical music, but the story is not told, and also we have to give a reason for people to come to Riga Jurmala, for them to see what a wonderful country it is. And
so he said he'd back it financially.
He started, but he was quite smart about it, because it's, as for all initiatives of this kind, the sustainability, is a big question. You can do it once, you can do it twice. how can you do it long term, you know?
Yeah.
But he immediately started, you know, approaching pretty much everyone who's interested in classical music or have any connection to Latvia, you know, or, you know, is Latvian businessmen and people who has connections with Latvia. So right now we have already 17 trustees, basically, and with every next one, it feels like it is becoming more sustainable. So it's not dependent on one individual anymore, not even on 2 or 3. So basically, it was his idea, and
he contacted you, or
yes, they had already contacted Martin and Miguel, so they were thinking about the artistic concept, and then they contacted me. He tells in all interviews that one of our supporters and rather sizable philanthropist in Latvia, Jan Zuzans, was the one who told that I will support this only if Zane Čulkstēna will do it. I'm not sure if that was the case, but I was initially approached to put together as a consultant the plan. Basically, he says like, here's the artistic program, the concept, and we need to understand, you know, what will it cost, you know, how will it work, you know, So I put together a plan, and then they told, excellent, now you have to do it.
And putting the plan together, was that a matter of just making a lot of phone calls, finding out if people were available?
We actually did. There were 2 of us, both SSC Riga graduates, and I actually pulled up quite a bit of study materials from Columbia University, and we did quite a few visits. When I was at the Verbier Festival to ask how they started, you know, what's their funding structure, you know. What's their audience structure, meaning what are they doing marketing, you know? So basically we went through all topics, and it was a serious research, and then a plan as a result of it.
And so what was the feeling then when you're sitting in, I don't know, maybe the first and the last concerts of the initial festival? It must have been tremendously satisfying, but was it as you had imagined in your initial plan, or was it something different?
No, the problem is that I think that the festival has ruined my classical music experience for life, because once you're organizer, all you can think about is that one cuff at the, you know, 3rd row, second on the right, or, you know, I know
this is the danger of seeing behind the screen.
Yes,
sort of. Yeah.
No, it's you're basically you're stressed all the time. There are 2,000 people in the audience, and there is like, you know, 110 on the stage, and you know, with Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, there's security, you know, and bum checks before, and then there is. Latvian television is recording it, and it's going live at that time, and you know, a little girl jumps on the stage to kiss you Javang, and so it was extremely stressful. Of course, the first year, the level of responsibility, but also definitely extremely rewarding, and I think it exceeded everyone's expectations. Everyone's, both supporters, artists, audiences, and our as a teams. But we were working these four weekends, and total of 2 months, like non-stop.
And how many people were in your team?
The team is actually small. Well, full-time we are all year round. We are kind of 4 people, but there are many that are working part-time and also as freelancers, or join us in these 2, well, actually more like 3 months too. But the core team is, even with those who join us in the summer, is 12 people.
Mm-hmm. And just to wrap up, what can we expect from the Riga Jurmala Festival this year?
Well, you can expect equally.
Are the tickets still available?
Actually, just half of the tickets are available, and it's just February. So it's we've been doing surprisingly well in that respect as well. So tickets are still available. They are extremely affordable if you compare them with, I don't know, Salzburg or Lucerne or Bayreuth, So, well, you cannot quite compare it though with Bayreuth, but
and you're closer to the sea as well.
Yes, no, but tickets really start from €10, and we have student discounts, senior discounts, and many other discounts. So tickets are available and affordable, and we will have yet again for amazing orchestra. Each weekend has at least 3 major soloists. We'll have a bit of pianist orgy this summer. We will be announcing one very special additional concert in 2 weeks. So it's going to be once again unforgettable. And this year we managed to have 2 weekends in Riga and 2 in Jurmala, because it's always about the availability of orchestras and venues. And this time it's 50-50, which I'm very glad about as well.
Well, congratulations on the success of it and on managing to slightly close the export-import gap in Latvian music.
Exactly.
And thank you for joining me today to talk about it.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm looking forward to see you in the summer at the concerts.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was produced by SSC Riga. If you'd like to learn more about the topic, visit the open course schedule at SSC Riga Executive Education. For more podcasts, find us on Spotify, iTunes, or the platform of your choice. Remember, share this episode with your friends and colleagues.